morning.
Good morning.
All right, we're gonna get started in 1 minute, Mr. Altman, okay?
Yes, miss.
Thank you. Hi, Attorney Jill.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Altman. Good morning, P.O. Babich.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And then you're seen by somebody the next day, right? Yeah.
Okay, good morning. I'm Parole Officer Casella, and I'm a hearing examiner at the Board of Pardons and Paroles. And this is a revocation hearing concerning Ryan Altman, inmate number 409524. Today is Tuesday, January 7th, 2025, and this hearing is being conducted via video at the Board of Pardons and Paroles Central Office at MacDougall Correctional Institution. Can you please state your full name and inmate number for the record?
Ryan Altman, 409524.
And that's when.
Thank you. This is a public hearing, and public access to this hearing is available via video live stream. Present this morning is Attorney Jones and Parole Officer Babich. Is it Babich? Babich. Can you please identify yourself for the record, Attorney Jones?
Yes, thank you. Attorney Sonia Jones, Public Defender's Office, Parole Revocation Unit on behalf of Mr. Altman.
And Officer Babich, can you please identify yourself for the record?
Officer Babich, Montgomery Residential.
Thank you. So this is a revocation hearing to determine whether you have violated the conditions of your release. I'll review and make findings of facts as to each of the charges against you. The state, not you, has a responsibility to prove the allegation by a preponderance of evidence, and that is the better or weightier evidence must establish that more probably than not, the allegation is true. If I do not find that there's a preponderance of evidence to support a violation of one or more of the conditions of your parole, I will reinstate your parole, which means releasing you and placing you back on parole supervision. If I find that you have violated one or more of the conditions of your parole, I will consider whether or not your parole should be revoked. And if I recommend revocation, I will make a recommendation as to the appropriate sanction. My recommendation will then be given to a panel for a final decision. And if the panel wishes to impose a sanction beyond my recommendation, a supplemental hearing will be provided to justify additional confinement. You should know that a revocation hearing is an adversarial proceeding, and anything you say at this hearing can be used against you. And the testimony at today's hearing will be taken under oath. So, Mr. Altman and Officer Babich, can you both please raise your right hands?
I believe that I wrote her again.
You solemnly swear, solemnly and sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God upon penalty of perjury.
I wasn't letting up.
Yes, miss.
I wasn't letting
Perfect.
up.
So we're going to go over the procedure for the hearing. First, I'm going to read you your rights. Then we'll review the parole violation charges that the state, your parole officer, is bringing against you. We will then review and identify the exhibits for the record. The state will then have the opportunity to present all relevant testimony subject to cross-examination and any relevant documents. After the state is finished, you will have the same opportunity. If I find that you have violated one or more of the conditions of your parole, the state will have the opportunity to speak to your background and history. And after the state is finished, you will have the same opportunity. Do you have any questions about the purpose or procedure before we begin?
I do. One question.
Okay.
On the original thing, which we went through already, which was, I believe, what that was the whole preliminary process, was to determine you specifically had found the residence was no finding.
Right. So, Ryan, they won't address those today. We won't
No.
address
Yeah,
anything there was a no finding on. It won't be addressed for today's
Then
purposes.
she went and added. Now she just changed the wording of it to halfway house placement. Now before there was 5, now there's 6. So residence is removed because there was no finding, but she just reworded it to halfway house placement and added all the same exact things, but just called it something different.
No, that's
Halfway
always,
house.
unless I'm mistaken, I did not receive any additional parole violation reports. So that is something that was always in existence. Am I
It was
correct?
look, I have right here is five charges, and then now here there's 6 charges.
So
I didn't add anything.
So,
I've always had the halfway house as well.
and I have always had it as well. I have 6 charges, Ryan, and I've always had 6 charges, and we defended 6 charges at the preliminary hearing.
No way. I have all the original paperwork, and there's 5. 100%. I mean, I have all the paperwork.
Yeah, I don't,
But here's the
um,
original, look, here's the original thing right here. Look, charge 1 to charge 5. On this, I mean, it's from Blue, Connecticut, 10/16 to 12 p.m.
That's under, I have that.
Oh, no,
one.
you're right, hold on. There is halfway house placement. It's charge 1 GPS, charge.
So Mr. Altman, can we go
Yeah, I'm
start
sorry.
heading through it, and then if you find the discrepancies, like, flag us,
Honestly,
wave us, stop us?
I'm not trying to be a weirdo with all that. I just
No.
noticed that just while sitting here. But I also, I just wanted to say that it feels like almost maybe like you guys are going through all this paperwork that I feel you already went through, we went through. I have no discrepancy that I was asked, you know, say, what you call it, a tactical violation, technically for sure violated a lot of the things here.
so listen, Ryan, listen, at your preliminary hearing, we went through everything. We went through all 6 of the
Like,
charges.
I don't even want to argue it though. I don't want
Right,
to
but
argue with
listen,
them.
listen.
I just want to say, look, I'm sorry.
Okay, but
Give me a chance. You know what
we're
I'm
gonna
saying?
do
Like,
that.
gosh, like, come
Yep.
on, man.
and I'm gonna do that.
Go through all this
Okay.
paperwork. It's just ridiculous.
I have a
I'm
few
sorry.
comments. Yeah, I have a few comments to make though on the charges.
Yeah.
But let's go through the process, make my comments, and then we're going to move forward to the second portion where I think that's where you'd like to be heard and say your apologies, and that would be the appropriate time. But we have to go through the process, okay? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
Okay. So yes, all right, so we do have to just go over your rights for the hearing. You have the right to be represented by an attorney, and counsel is here present to represent you. You have the right to receive the written notice of the charges violations. It sounds like you received it because you held it up and I saw you looking through it. You also have the right to review the evidence against you, and you have the right to submit evidence in support of your case, and you have the right to call and examine voluntary witnesses and adverse witnesses. Mr. Altman, do you understand all these rights, and are you still ready to go forward?
Can I ask one question? Yeah. I just want to say about the witnesses thing. Initially, I had written this whole list of all these people. Are they available today?
I'm not aware of any witnesses, Ryan, but your witnesses also have to be relevant to defenses on each of these charges.
Well, it was like all the people from the halfway house that made all these ridiculous claims, like saying I was going to dismember somebody, like Toya. That's a complete lie. So
Okay.
is she here to really like raise her hand on oath and say that she swears that I said that? Because that's ridiculous.
She isn't here to do that, but would you like a continuance so that these people can be
It's just
called?
like if she's gonna get the credibility on this paperwork to be able to, you guys gonna take that under like say that you believe
But
that.
Mr. Altman, as your attorney explained, are they relevant? Are they going to support the
Well, I mean,
violation?
it's
Are
just
they
like,
going to
if
support
that's
your
even-
cause to the violation?
Do you really believe that, miss?
Okay, all right.
Listen,
So-
Like,
Ryan,
if you're going to take that as word
Ryan.
and say you believe that and want to charge me for it, then I want her to actually
So listen,
come on video and say
Ryan,
that I said that, because that's freaking ridiculous.
Attorney Jones,
Ryan,
what
you
is
have
the best
a couple of
solution?
options here. We can go forward and defend your charges, or we can request a continuance if you would like to explore any the possibility of calling any of the witnesses.
I mean, realistically, I just want to.
What would have to do with it?
I'm sorry.
Right now, I'm not
Well,
even.
So Attorney Jones, you would call all the witnesses for your client, correct?
I'm sorry.
So I don't know, Mr. Altman, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what your decision was.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Ryan, do you want to go
I
forward
mean, I'm just
today?
gonna go with God here, man, and say like, I believe in God, and realistically, this is.
So it's
I mean, I'm a good person, you know what I mean? I didn't say that. Look at it
right, so
realistically. Does that
Ryan,
even
do you wanna
make
go
sense? Do I look at me?
Ryan,
Do I
Ryan,
seem
Ryan.
like I even speak like that?
Ryan, do you want to go forward with the hearing today, or would you like a continuance for any purpose?
I do. I have faith in this lady and Mrs. Babbage to have realistic. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you would like to go forward?
Yeah, I want to say.
Okay.
Babbage,
so let them-
you know,
okay,
come
so
on.
let them read-
You know I'm a
let-
good dude. This is
Okay,
great.
so let the parole officer read the charges, okay? And so we can go forward, okay?
There's just a procedure we have to follow, Mr. Altman. You'll have your opportunity towards the end of the hearing for the stuff. So we are going to review the charges now. Officer Babbage, can you please review them? You can exclude charge 3 as residence was found within, there was a no finding found, so that one does not need to be considered today, and it is not considered today. And there's also the 2 parts in 13, yeah, to have them.
Okay, so you don't read the no finding ones.
Yeah,
I don't think this was an individual thing. I believe
Your
this was.
GPS battery is shut down from 11:15 p.m. on 9/28/24 until 11:29 a.m. on 9/29/24 for 12 hours and 13 minutes. This is a violation of your GPS monitoring agreement, which states I am responsible for the GPS tracking device remains charged by connecting the charging cable to the tracking device and plugging the charging cable into an electrical outlet for at least 2 hours each day. Your GPS battery is shut down from 2:13 p.m. on 9/29 until 2:29 p.m. on 9/29 for 16 minutes. This is a violation of your GPS monitoring agreement, which states I am responsible to ensure the GPS tracking device remains charged by connecting the charging cable to the tracking device and plugging the charging cable into an electrical outlet for at least 2 hours each day. Your GPS battery is shut down from 5:51 a.m. until 10:08 a.m. on 10/2 for 4 hours and 17 minutes. This is a violation of your GPS monitoring agreement, which states I am responsible to ensure the GPS tracking device remains charged by connecting the charging cable to the tracking device and plugging the charging outlet for at least 2 hours each day. Your GPS battery is shut down from 1:27 p.m. until 2:11 p.m. on 10/2 for 40 minutes. The violation of your GPS monitoring agreement, which states I am responsible to ensure the GPS tracking device remains charged by connecting the charging cable to the tracking device and plugging the charging cable into an electrical outlet for at least 2 hours each day. Your GPS battery is shut down from 7:12 a.m. until 8:28 a.m. on 10/7/24 for an hour and 15 minutes. This is a violation of your GPS monitoring agreement, which states I am responsible to ensure the GPS tracking device remains charged by connecting the charging cable to the tracking device and plugging the charging cable into an electrical outlet for at least 2 hours each day. Your GPS battery is shut down from 12 a.m. or 1 p.m. on 10/9/24 for 15 hours and 29 minutes. This is a violation of your GPS monitoring agreement, which states I am responsible to ensure the GPS tracking device remains charged by connecting the charging cable to the tracking device and plugging the charging cable into an electrical outlet for at least 2 hours each day. Your GPS battery is shut down from 6:28 a.m. until 8:07 a.m. on 10/10/24 for an hour and 38 minutes. This is a violation of your GPS monitoring agreement, which states I am responsible to ensure the GPS tracking device remains charged by connecting the charging cable to the tracking device and plugging the charging cable into an electrical outlet for at least 2 hours each day. Do I keep going through everything?
Oh, yeah, charge 2.
Charge 2, program participation, 8/30/24. You were unsuccessfully discharged from Renato, where you were attending your BOP stipulated mental health treatment after making, quote, aggressive and threatening comments to your clinician. You've been banned from their facility. Charge 4, obedience to the law. On 10/10/24, it was reported by halfway house maintenance staff that your bedroom window and the window in the hallway near your room broken, and that you had admitted to him that you had broken the spring. Based on your actions, you are guilty of criminal mischief and a warrant is pending for your arrest on the charge at this time. Charge 5, halfway house placement. On 8/18/24, you were observed on halfway house surveillance cameras handing data determined to another offender resident. This is a violation of your halfway house agreement, which states I have read and understand and agree to comply with the program during my period of residence in a DOC halfway house. Page 18 of the client handbook states that possession, introduction, or use of any narcotic, paraphernalia, or drug not prescribed. On 8/30/24, you were observed by Renato staff getting into the passenger side of your girlfriend's car and driving away from the program. You do not have prior written approval for the role to be in the vehicle. This is a violation of your halfway house agreement. It states I will not operate a vehicle, nor will I be a passenger in the vehicle without prior written approval from the role. On 8/31/24, during a pat search of your person by halfway house staff, you were found to be in possession of smokable marijuana in the halfway house. This is a violation of your halfway house agreement, which states I will not consume or possess alcohol or marijuana in the halfway house. On 9/24, you requested permission from halfway house staff for a drop-off. The request was denied due to not being previously approved by the program director. Your girlfriend came onto the property anyway, and you failed to obey staff direction to go inside and not approach her. This is a violation of the halfway house agreement, which states, I have read, understand, and agree to comply with the program rules during my period of residence in a DOC halfway house. Page 16 of the client handbook states, clients are prohibited to have unauthorized visitors on property. Page 18 of the client handbook states, conduct which disrupts or interferes with the security or running of the facility is a prohibited act. On 9/9/24, you were observed leaving the kitchen with cereal hidden under your shirt. When staff stopped you, you threw the cereal to avoid detection. Staff asked you why you stole the food from the kitchen. You denied stealing the cereal, claiming that you were just hungry. This is a violation of your halfway house agreement, which states, I have read, understand, and agree to comply with the program rules during my period of residence in a DOC halfway house. Page 16 of the client handbook states, no food is allowed outside of the dining area without staff permission. And page 18 states that stealing is a prohibited act. On 9/16/24, you were found in possession of a marijuana vape pen and valve. This is a violation of your halfway house agreement, which states, I will not possess vape pens inside the halfway house. On 10/4/24, you told halfway house staff that you're going to, quote, dismember your roommate if, quote, nothing was done. Staff spoke to your roommate who stated that he'd asked you to throw away food, quote, stashing in the closet. This is a violation of your halfway house agreement, which states, I will treat others with respect and not engage in physical relations with vendors, staff, and third parties. And I have read, understand, and agree to comply with the program during my period of residence in the DOC halfway house. Page 15 of the handbook states no food is allowed out in the dining area without staff permission. And page 18 states spreading another bodily harm is a prohibited act. On 10/4/24, when a staff member couldn't really locate your cutting knife, or need to find my fucking knife, I'm not playing with you. I'm tired of playing these games with all of you. You were asked to lower your tone after the knife was found. To this, you replied, quote, fuck you, I'm tired of playing fucking games with you. This is a violation of your halfway house agreement, which states you will treat others with respect and not engage in physical or verbal or physical altercation with other offenders, staff, or third parties. On 10/7/24, you called the halfway house job developer a quote pussy, and he could not speak with you at the time due to conducting a facility head count. This is a violation of your halfway house agreement, which states, I will treat others with respect and not engage in verbal or physical altercations with other offenders, staff, or third parties. On 10/8/24, you yelled at your parole officer, quote, you're a scumbag and a liar. You're a scumbag and do nothing but lie, and you're a lying scumbag. This is a violation of your halfway house agreement, which states, I will treat others with respect and not engage in verbal or physical altercations with offenders, staff, or third parties. On 10/10/24, you called the halfway house kitchen faggot and quote pussy and several other residents. This is a violation of your halfway house agreement, which states, I will treat others with respect and not engage in other offenders, staff, or third parties. Charge 6, mental health treatment. On 8/30/24, you were unsuccessfully discharged from Renato, where you were attending your BOPP stipulated mental health treatment after making, quote, aggressive and threatening comments to your, and you been banned from the facility.
Thank you. Evidence was submitted and identified at the preliminary hearing, and those all do remain the same. There was new evidence submitted that I'm going to mark as, it was just a disciplinary report, so those are now identified as State's Exhibit 00. Also, the state did file an addendum to the, or multiple addendums to the violations. Officer Babbage, can you please read the 3 addendums that you have submitted?
Don't believe I have them worked out.
Okay.
Sorry, and it's Exhibit O, all 8 of the DRs?
I did lump.
They're all, okay, so they're all 8 and all.
Yes, all 8.
I'm sorry, I did not pronounce the
I
addendum.
do have this. Do you want to read all of it? Or sure?
Some type of resolution.
So the first one you submitted on October 22nd, 2024, correct?
10, 11, 10, 12, 4. Altman received 2 Class A disciplinary reports, one was for threats and the other was for flagrant disobedience. On 10/15/24, he received a Class A disciplinary report for interfering with safety and security. The 3 DRs have been attached under violation evidence of peaceful review. Addendum 2, on 10/26/24, Altman received a Class A fighting. On 10/30/24, he received a Class A disciplinary report for interfering with safety or security. For administrative jargon 9.2, offender prosecution, projected classification manual.
Even though it wasn't working, they wouldn't give him that no more either. So it came a point in time where they were giving me absolute.
12/24 through 10/24 in the interest of progressive discipline. He is now an overall level 4 offender housed in MacDougall Walker. The 2 DRs have been attached under parole violation evidence in case 2. And addendum number 3, on 11/15/24, Altman received 3 Class A disciplinary reports. 2 were for threats and the third using house. The 3 DRs have been attached under parole violation evidence in case of review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Attorney Jones, did you and your client receive the notice of parole violation, the parole violation reports, and all of the documents that have been identified?
Yes.
I'm saying she engaged in.
I also did receive an exhibit from the defense, and that's exhibit 1, which is a list of parole accomplishments and future plans for parole statement. Do you and your client need any time to submit any additional evidence?
I don't believe so.
Mr. Altman, are you ready to move forward?
As a result of her.
Yes.
Okay, so today we do not have witnesses, so it is now the state's opportunity to call any witnesses, present evidence, and speak to the evidence submitted. Officer Babbage, do you have any statements you'd like to make?
Just that I would like to reiterate my initial 6-month recommendation. Not only were there a number of charges in the community, but 8 Class A DRs that received.
Hey, you skipped the step. Are you talking to me?
And now it is the defense's opportunity to call any witnesses, present evidence, and speak to the charges. Attorney Jones?
Yes, thank you. As you know, we did have a preliminary hearing in this matter. I'm going to reiterate some of my comments to the charges as the standard of proof is now different. In regards to charge 1 under GPS, again, I would just note that Exhibit FF, my client was issued a misconduct, given a verbal warning, but also refused to sign because he maintained he was having issues with the charger, and a new charger was issued to him. And then again, for the second portion, he did experience issues with his GPS monitoring device, and that he requested a new device and was given a new device. In regards to...
I wasn't given a new device. From the second day, when I went to work at
a new charger
go in the freezer, yeah, but something was the matter with that device. Every time I would go to work,
I'm sorry, I misspoke. Ryan, I misspoke. I meant to say that you requested a new charger and were given a new charger.
I requested a new device.
Okay.
And was given a new charger. Ms. Babbage was very aware of the fact that I requested a new device. That was actually why, and I apologize, and I do not think it's okay that I called her a scumbag. I'm sorry, Ms. Babbage. That
in
was
regards,
what triggered me and why I started getting all weird and called her a scumbag, because I asked for her new device. She said she would help me the next day, never came the next day. Then I saw her like 5 days later at the halfway house. I said, Ms. Babbage, she said something, oh, I'll be tomorrow. She brought a charger then the next day. And then when I said, Miss, I didn't ask for a new charger. I'm saying that there's something the matter with the device. The thing, every time I go in the freezer at work, the thing starts vibrating, going all crazy. You're saying that you want me to sign this misconduct. It's not the device, there's something the matter with it. Then she says, but it was on a foot where I had shattered my heel and it was hurting me, physically hurting me. I said, I asked her also, can you please put it on the left leg? So there's something wrong with it. I need a new device, but I also need it put on the other leg. She said, well, you can skate to the halfway house tomorrow if you want. Now it's already been 2 weeks. She's trying to have me sign a misconduct for like I'm doing something wrong with the thing when 2 weeks prior I had told her it was hurting me and I need it put on the left leg. She says you can skate over. I couldn't skate anywhere. My foot hurt so bad at that point I could barely walk. I had gone to the CVS and bought special ankle braces to pad the thing because it hurt so bad. So she said it like sarcastically. Well, you can skate over if you want. When at this point I couldn't barely walk with the thing. So I was asking her to come to the halfway house or do something, help me put it on the left leg and put a properly working one on the left leg. And there's no way she could raise her hand on oath right now and say that she doesn't know that that's exactly what happened.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ryan.
Do you dispute that? Do you dispute that I asked to put it on the left leg?
Ryan.
Can, but I have to. Attorney Jones, Officer Babbage wants to respond, but do you want to finish your part first?
No, I want to ask my specific questions to her would
Okay,
be,
you don't, that's, I don't
Okay.
need to. Keep going. It's fine.
Ryan, it's okay. Relax, okay?
yeah.
Thank you. I would just ask P.O. Babich, if you recall the situation where Mr. Altman did request a new device and that you gave him a new charger instead of replacing his device.
Well, first of all, I just want to say that I checked his points regularly. The GPS unit was functioning fine. The issue was the charging, which was why I gave him a new charger. I went in every day, every couple of days. The unit was not malfunctioning. I mean, the offenders do get the alerts, you know, for batteries and unable to connect. And he did have a number of unable to connect the freezer at FHI, but the unit was not improperly working.
Okay, thank
How
you.
come every time I would go into
Ryan.
the freezer at work, the thing would get hot
So
and start
P.O.
vibrating?
Babich, if I may ask you, were any of your violations directly related to the conduct where he was entering the freezer and the device was malfunctioning in the freezer?
No, they're all due to battery shutdowns.
Okay, thank you. In regards to charge 2 under program participation, I would just point out that my client had completed an IOP and on, I believe it was July 15th of 24, and was attending the Renata Treatment Center only on a voluntary basis. And he was there on that particular day to give a urine. And that's what my client has relayed to me. In regards to charge 4 under obedience to the law, I would just point out that the charge is indicating that my client is guilty of criminal mischief. It's not indicating a statute number, a subsection of the statute. It's basing that information on a warrant that it's pending for his arrest. And I would just point out again that my investigator has checked since the date of remand when it was indicated to us that there was a pending warrant for my client's arrest. And we are unable to confirm that there is in fact any pending warrant for his arrest for the charge of criminal mischief in any degree. And so therefore we would submit there's insufficient evidence to support that charge. I don't believe there's any evidence entered here that would support that. And again, we were unable to verify that. In fact, we were told there was no warrant. Thank you in regards to that charge. And then in regards to charge 5, halfway house placement, addressing the first portion of that charge, the August 18th of 24 paragraph, I would just point out that rolling papers are not paraphernalia unless they're associated with a controlled substance. And in that particular subsection, there's no indication that my client had any sort of controlled substance on his person that he was intending to use rolling papers for. In regards to the paragraph beginning August 31st of 24, where it's indicating that there was a pat down of my client and he was found to be in possession of smokable marijuana. Again, my client denies that. There's no indication that the substance was ever tested. So we don't know. In fact,
it's never even happened.
Ryan, let me finish speaking, please. So there's no indication that there was any substance that was tested and that in fact it tested positive for THC or marijuana. In regards to the 9/2/24
Oh, he was a
paragraph.
pat down, he had marijuana. What are you talking about? Is there video? Is there actual marijuana? It never even happened. It never happened.
Okay,
Well,
I'm
Ryan,
gonna have to, you have to let your attorney speak because we have to get
Yes,
through
ma'am.
this. You
Sorry.
have to let her get through what she's trying to do, okay?
Sorry, I was like, she's saying it. It's like, it's just making me think. I'm like, this is
I
crazy.
get
Like,
it.
these people just write stuff on paper and then you guys like want to, like, you Miss Babich, I mean, sorry for any rude thing
Okay.
said,
Mr.
but you
Altman,
are like
Right.
a total neutral party, Miss. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. This lady's being presented this like evidence. It's not even evidence. It's like never even happened. It's just a bunch of lies from the staff at the halfway house.
Okay, so addressing the paragraph September 9th of 24, my client maintains that he arrived back to the halfway house from work, he missed breakfast, and that the kitchen staff did in fact give him permission to take food, that he was not in fact stealing any food. In Exhibit Z, he was issued and served a sanction where he was restricted in his community passes, was given extra chores. So we'll point those things out. On the 9/16/24, my client denies using marijuana in the halfway house. He was in possession of a battery for a vape pen and not a vape pen.
That's true.
And again, Exhibit BB, he states he did not use marijuana at the halfway house. In regards to, I just have a minute.
The cereal thing is true. You know,
In
like,
regards
some
to
of
the
it's true.
In regards to the paragraph, October 4th of 24, that addresses my client's knife that he used for work. Again, it's a knife that he uses for work. The halfway house took possession of the knife, and then they apparently lost the knife. He works at Bizzuto's in Cheshire. He needed that for his employment.
At this point,
He was issued a sanction and restricted community passes that were served in regards to that conduct. In regards to, I believe,
said, hey,
in regards to the charge 6 mental health treatment, again, my same comments for program participation. My client maintains that he was at that program on a voluntary basis, having successfully completed the IOP. No further comments as to the charges.
Thank you.
exactly.
Thank you.
Yes, okay, so I'm just gonna take a moment and then I'll review. Are you all set? You did want to make a comment? No additional comments? Okay. Let you know my finding.
Like if anyone looking at my scalp could see what was going on with it. This was a problem. It wasn't just about going to see a dermatologist. It was about getting some type of medical treatment. At that point, they were giving me none.
It's at MacDougall. They're on the opposite side of the wall. Yes, I might as well just ask. I have a question. Officer Babbage, was Mr. Altman at Renato voluntarily?
He had a mental health evaluation and treatment as deemed necessary, STIP, I believe.
Okay.
So, you would just be a mental health treatment for mental health, including monitoring. So he had the mental health treatment stipulation. So, they stepped him down to individual sessions after the completion of IOP, which is their recommended shortfall.
Got it. Okay. Great, thank you. So I am gonna make my findings now. So on charge number 1, I do find that you violated the condition of GPS based on states exhibit A, B, and X, double D, double E, and double F. On charge number 2, I find that you violated the condition of program participation based on states exhibit A, N, O, double M, and double N. On charge number 4, condition of obedience to the law, I make a no finding as I don't believe the state submitted sufficient evidence in support of the charge. On charge number 5, I find that you violated the condition of halfway house placement based on exhibit A, B, F, L, M, P, Q, R, T, E, W, Y, B, double G, double H, double K, double L, and double M. So that does conclude the fact-finding portion of the hearing. Before I make my recommendation, the state will have an opportunity to speak to your background and history, and after the state is finished, you will have the same opportunity. The purpose of this part of the revocation hearing is to help determine what outcome I would recommend. Officer Babbage, would you like to make a statement?
That's as the way you're speaking it, it just seems.
And counsel, do you wish to make a statement regarding your client's violation, background, and history?
Yes, thank you. My client is 40 years of age. He's a high school graduate. He did complete some college. He has support in the community by way of his mother, father, siblings, as well as his significant other. He has been in custody now for approximately 3 months. He was in the community for approximately 4 months, and I believe this is to be his first violation of his parole. During the time that he was in the community, he utilized the Connecticut Renaissance Halfway House in Waterbury. He also was able to obtain employment working at Green Meadows Landscaping, as well as Bizzuto's in Cheshire. My client was also receiving treatment at Connecticut Counseling Center in Waterbury and received medication-assisted treatment in the form of methadone. In addition, he received treatment at MacDougall Behavioral Health, Renato Network in Waterbury, where he successfully completed the intensive outpatient program there. He also was participating in the Explorer program. It indicates that he completed 12 of 26 classes in that programming. If he's re-paroled, he would like to be sponsored by his significant other. Her name is Chantel Benoit, and her information is contained within Defense Exhibit 1. As a secondary option, he's asking for placement in a halfway house in the Waterbury area. He would like, when he re-enters the community, he's interested in continuing his education and would like to complete a veterinarian technician program. He also indicates that he's eligible to return to his full-time position at Bizzuto's in Cheshire. And lastly, my client is agreeable to all treatment recommendations of his parole officer. And I would just ask, I believe that there was some indication that P.O. Babbage was requesting that there be a mental health examination to determine a higher level of care or needs of my client. And I'm not certain if that was ever done and if the recommendation is that he be supervised by the mental health unit. Based on my communications, that certainly seems appropriate to me, but obviously I'm not a medical provider and I don't know. So I'm not sure if P.O. Babbage has some information and some light to shed on that issue. But we would be asking that he be re-paroled at the next available date, noting that he has been incarcerated now for approximately 3 months.
She would have had.
And Mr. Altman, I know you've been waiting patiently to speak. Would you like to make any statements at this time?
So,
I just want to say, sorry for being so jumpy in the beginning. I really do have terrible anxiety and PTSD. The whole probation and parole all started from my wife threatening to kill my kid.
It's her discretion.
I'm not a violent person at all. I was simply responded with a text message. I said, if you harm one hair on his head, I'll kill you. If I could go back 10 years ago and take that back, I would. That was 10 years ago. Parole, the probation part of it got violated with a charge impersonation of a police officer. I've never been to that town. That charge was thrown out. So technically, the 4-year sentence is an illegal sentence that should, I have habeas paperwork to try to like get that all resolved. I understand that that's not Mrs. Babbage's job or your job at this point, and that's like irrelevant to, you know what I mean, where we're at today with this. But I mean, I've served time in jail that I shouldn't have served to then be let out, and I understand that I was on, you know what I mean? It's like I needed to be polite. I needed to follow all the rules. But I mean, I've already been wrongfully persecuted here. Can you please just allow me the chance to get back to my life? I have two kids that are counting on me. You know, I just missed Christmas with them. I'm not a bad dude. I'm just a little bit traumatized from everything that's happened. And definitely handled it poorly. Like, Ms. Babbage, I'm sorry for being rude to you. You know, I had bad issues with my mom. You remind me of my mom. You're definitely on drugs. And my mom was on drugs. I mean, there's no way you're going to tell me you're not on drugs.
Mr. Altman, you need to learn how to control your thoughts
But
sometimes.
it's just like my mom was a drug addict. I dealt with it my whole life.
Right,
There's
so,
no way you're going to tell me
Ryan-
she doesn't do drugs.
I'm going to move
Ryan.
forward now with the recommendation because I was
Yeah.
listening to your story and what you're going to do, and this is about you and nobody else, but you don't know how to keep your
Right,
focus.
but no, what I'm saying is,
So we're going to
that's
move
where
forward now.
that's where I
Absolutely.
get.
Okay, so
That's where I get,
Ryan, in one sense, you're apologizing for your conduct, but in the next sense, you're
Yeah.
kind of saying some rude and inconsiderate things. So
It's not, what do you mean to say she's on drugs? That's like
Okay,
she's,
well, Yeah, that's
this
not
is
a-
a
that's
medical fact.
that's
This
not
is a fact.
Ryan, that's obviously a rude comment. Okay, so just
What do you mean it's a rude
refrain.
comment? This is facts. This is not a rude, I'm not saying.
Okay,
it
well,
to
so
be-
now I'm going
All right,
to.
well, Ryan,
I'm
let's
saying that's
just wait.
why I
And
get
we can-
angry with her, because
Okay.
she is on drugs, is why I call her a
Okay.
scumbag. It's not okay to call her a scumbag, but she is definitely on drugs.
Mr. Altman,
Okay.
I'm not saying it to be rude.
I'm going to move forward now. I believe that
All right.
you can control your your
Absolutely.
thoughts and your
I'm not
comments.
saying that to be
So we're
rude.
not going to mute
I
you
just
at
want to
this time, but
clarify
we
that.
kind of
I'm not
have
saying that to
so I
be
can
rude to her.
finish.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
doesn't matter. I'm done. We're moving forward. So at this time, I have listened to testimony. I did review all the evidence submitted. And I am going to recommend that your parole be revoked and that you serve an approximate 6 month period of confinement as a sanction with a reparole date of April 10th, 2025. And I'm going to recommend the following conditions: no alcohol beverage consumption, behavioral management program for domestic violence, no contact with the victim LC, mental health treatment. And I am going to submit your sponsor, but I'm going to do a halfway house just in case if anything happens.
Oh,
So
can I
my
say one thing, Liz?
recommendation-
Can I
No,
just
I'm gonna
clarify?
finish.
I apologize. Was the date April 10th?
April 10th, yes,
Okay.
2025,
Okay.
6 months. So I'm
And the-
gonna finish first. So my findings will go to the board on January 16th, 2025, and at that date afterwards, you'll receive a written notice from them. At that hearing, the board can either lessen my recommended sanction, they can adopt my recommended sanction, or they can impose a sanction longer than what I've recommended. If that does happen, you'll be notified because a supplemental hearing will be held and you'll be present for it to address their concerns and to discuss why they believe that it should be a longer sanction than what I've recommended.
Can I ask one
Attorney
question?
Jones.
May I inquire of P.O. Babbage, whether or not we do know if he will be supervised following his release and reparole to the mental health unit?
That's what my witness list
Able
was.
to be evaluated since being incarcerated. I was trying to get him evaluated at HCC and then he got moved to Osborne and then at
I
Osborne.
got evaluated here. I got
Okay.
evaluated at every place I've been. I talked to the mental health here. They said that what they did here is 100% a formal evaluation so for her to
Okay,
say,
so do we know
for
the results
anybody to
of the
say,
evaluation or no?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what?
I signed
On my-
releases for
On
all.
my end, Attorney Jones, I'm going to, when I do the dispo, we're able to put the different units.
Well, okay,
So I'm
thank you,
going to
thank
do
you.
mental health unit. It'll be up to
All right.
PCS at the time of his release to, I think they might do it. I'm not sure how it works, but I'm going to recommend the
All right,
unit.
perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it.
They're going to need the evaluation
They
to
can,
review.
well, you guys,
Okay.
I'll do my end to say that this is what's gonna be, when I do the dispo on whenever it happens, whatever the date is, whatever he's given, I will just put it in the disposition. It'll be up to
Yeah,
DOC.
no way I could work with Mrs. Babbage again and be successful. I mean, it's a trigger.
Okay, so maybe things will be different, and I just hope you continue to work on yourself, okay, Mr. Altman? This does
Thank you,
conclude
miss.
your
I appreciate it. I'm
revocation
not trying, I'm
hearing.
not like, I didn't mean that to be an attack. It's facts. Look at her.
Well, maybe just take
All
a
right,
breath before you say
Ryan.
stuff, all right? So you're all set.
Good luck. If you have
Wait,
any
you got
questions, you
drugs. Look at her. You're sitting right next to her.
It's okay.
can, Ryan,
We're
if you have any
done.
questions after the January 16th board review, please give me a call, okay? If you want to know whether or not the board accepted the recommendation, okay?
Well, you were saying, okay, so one more thing though. I have two sponsors and addresses.
Okay. So what you could do
I
is you
only
could write
was able
the
to provide
second
you
one.
with one. What is it,
Okay, would
miss?
you like to provide the second sponsor right now on the record?
I don't, it's, her name is Mrs. Munko.
Do you have her address and phone number?
Honestly, if you look at it, I'm sure you could go backtrack. It's one of the things you guys tried to use against me. The
No, but
text
Ryan, you have
messages.
the information right now. If you don't have the information right now, then you can get it to, I believe the discharge planner at DOC is somebody that might maybe
You can
help
get
with
the
the community.
information, yeah, write it on a correspondence to the IPO in the facility and they'll forward it to me, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
But for
All right,
now,
good
I'll
luck, Ryan.
submit
Thank
that.
you.
You're all set. Take care.
Thank
This
you.
concludes
Sorry
the
for,
revocation for Ryan Altman.
That's me.
You're all set.
Thank you.
Take care,
Good luck,
Mr.
Ryan.
Altman. Bye, Attorney Jones. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe Babbage.
Howard, you know you do drugs.
Oh, hello.
Hi, good morning.
Oh, good morning. I'm sorry. Oh, we're behind. We're behind
No, that's
now.
okay. Do you want me to log off?
No,
and log
you
back
stay. You are perfect, Officer Richardson. I just need 5 seconds to just get my thoughts together and then call the facility, okay?
on? I mean, you're better than me. I would need like 5 minutes after. You take all the time you need. Hi,
This
Jamie.
This hearing was a doozy. We all need to resolve.
Yes.